It's Genesee Light, though, right? It's not Jenny Cream Ale.
I tend to buy Jenny Light, yes.
Okay. Jenny Cream Ale is like one of the worst beers I've ever had in my life. The worst beer I've ever had in my life, and I feel bad saying this because of, local brewery stuff, is Forgotten Boardwalk Funnel Cake, which is like a super sweet cream ale.
Sounds horrific.
It's awful. My brother-in-law had it once, and he was like, oh, do you want to try this? And I was like, I've had that before. It was the worst beer I've ever had. And then he just took one sip, and he's just like, oh, God. And he, tried to finish, and you could just see him struggling to finish this god-awful beer.
Howdy, it's Tuesday, September 15th, 2020, and this is episode 134 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Eskin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
Leeds United. They're pretty good.
Are they? What's their record?
They lost to Liverpool, but they gave them a hell of a game.
So they haven't won. They don't have a point. No points?
No points.
Yep. Sounds like they're pretty good. What is it, 2 games?
They've only played 1.
Oh, 1. Yeah, well.
They played Liverpool, man.
But your futures bet is looking good.
It is looking good. I made a bet, $10 whole on my boy Patrick Bamford to be the leading scorer of Leeds United at plus 300.
I still could never have been more disappointed to you, as you had your one moment to impress a bunch of random English guys that were in the Piccalilli, and you did not take it.
Yeah.
It was like the Leeds United fan club decided to come to Atlantic City for no reason whatsoever, and you saw them and didn't make your move.
I did not. I mean, I saw them on the boardwalk later and said something.
I was not there, so I cannot confirm that.
Yeah, that's true. So. Press of Atlantic City's Nicholas Huba posted something about being interested in Leeds United because of Marcelo Bielsa, the coach of Leeds United. And then I interacted with him and then outed myself as a totally fake new fan. And then that ended the conversation. So that was good. Anyways.
It was a view of what could have been if you tried to interact with those guys.
Oh, yes, definitely. That's why I just start everything with oh yeah, I was born there. I have the ultimate claim just to fandom. Dave thought I was going to talk about the Capitals hiring a coach, so I just couldn't do that because that was...
Yeah, he's texted and reached out to me 5 times about this, and I don't know why he thinks we're talking about that on the podcast.
I actually don't really care about that hire. I think it's the most meh hire possible. But I've been told I must call you Stone Gold Craig. Hey, I'm still Diamond. For now.
Anyway, so 1934, I did a little research before the episode and found a couple things.
I did not.
One is, that's true, that the new train station called Union Station in Atlantic City was built, which was torn down at 1995 or something like that. It appears that it is where the outlets are now, judging by the pictures that I saw online. Look like a very generic train and bus station. Don't have much more else to say, but it just got torn down in the 90s, so I'm sure some of our listeners have seen it or possibly taken a train or bus there.
How much money did Nucky Thompson get kicked? No, sorry, Nucky Johnson, the real person, get kicked back to him from the construction of this train station?
Enough.
Probably a lot.
But more importantly, I found an incredible magazine from 1934, the Atlantic City Pictorial.
I feel like all our best stuff comes from just random magazine articles from this era.
I mean, this magazine, which, hopefully Craig will deem worthy enough to link to, since I found it instead of him.
Oh, you weren't just saying compliments of Steel Pier because...
Oh, no.
You were joking. It says that on the cover of the magazine.
Yes.
In case there's any doubt.
Yes. Came with a free Steel Pier ticket, I believe, which, saves you $1.50 or whatever. I don't know. Just a brief reading from it. This is talking about Miss Springtime on parade. Miss Springtime, with decorative corsage, perks her new chapeau at bewitching angle, adjusts a jaunty flair of the spick and span tilleur, and prepares to swing along through the jubilant throngs with modish flutter. The 1934 continuous procession, which starts very soon after the Easter sunrise and lasts through the day past midnight, will again be the nation's leading news event of the day. Just in case you thought, we've traveled too far into the future to not get prose like that, well, you were wrong. Apparently 1934 still liked it really heavy on the flowery adjectives.
Oh, it's good. I'm going to be sad when we start to get to very journalistic, short, terse, Just like short sentences, short paragraphs.
I know. Because it's got to be soon, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, they didn't talk like this in the 50s, right? I feel like they didn't talk like this in the 30s either, but apparently they did.
Yeah, I wonder when that changed. Maybe never for Atlantic City. Like, maybe just Atlantic City. Atlantic City's like baseball writing, where it took, a really long time. Like, there are a lot of cliche things in American, whatever, language that come from baseball sports writing from, like, the 1920s. And so it would be great if Atlantic City just sticks with that until, like the 80s or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe everybody got really sad in like the 70s and then it stopped. There was no more Miss Springtime on Parade.
I know. Another amazing thing about this magazine is that it has like pictures of all the hotels you can stay in, and they're like, look at beautiful Chalfontaine Haddon Hall or, whatever.
The Traymore.
Yeah, the Traymore, the Claridge, like, brand new, like, so gorgeous, like, you've never seen anything more beautiful. And then at the end, there's a picture of the Dennis, and they're like, you can stay in the Dennis. It's charming.
There's definite charm in this delightful seashore setting.
I mean, because you have to figure it was like 50 years old already at that point or whatever, right? It's like obviously like a piece of shit. And like, little do you know, like of all these hotels, which one is still standing in 2020?
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird to look at it because you look at it as like, it's valleys.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the Claridge also, like when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, it's the Claridge. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, there's not as much around it as there should be.
Right. But yes, the Dennis, you're just like, sure is the Dennis.
I mean, even the Chalfontaine Haddon Hall is like, that's resorts. Although now it's painted white. But, man, some of the pictures, like the inside Boardwalk Hall stuff, like, just awesome.
I know, just spectacular.
Really, I mean, because it looks so shitty on the outside now, the Boardwalk Hall. It's like very dreary. But in these black and white pictures, looks awesome. I'll link to it. Approval, stamp of approval, done.
For me, and I know I sent you this picture separately, but nothing looks more spectacular than Morbo Blenheim. Just like, so good. The picture I sent you on GChat, I think was from like 1906, but like, it blows my mind even in 2020 that something can look as amazing as that.
It does look good. They did call it the Blenheim in the most recent episode of Boardwalk Empire.
Oh.
So maybe we were wrong this whole time. But why would we have ever heard how it was said? Yeah. Marlborough Blenheim. I've always wondered, like, that seems like it's pronounced in some weird way.
That does seem weird. It is like, why do Dorchester and Worcester not rhyme? When you look at those words, you're like, never have two words ever rhyme more than these two. But no.
True.
Anyway, so what happened with smoking in Atlantic City?
Oh, they were going to allow smoking.
Can I go smoke at the casinos?
Sure. No, you could maybe for a few minutes. And then the governor was like, wait a minute. No, did I say smoking? No, cancel that. I know you've already opened, but here is an executive order saying you cannot actually smoke. So, yeah, that came down Friday after the casinos opened, Friday 2 weeks ago. So whatever that was, the 4th, September 4th.
Well, I mean, let's be clear, the casinos never really closed, but
Sorry,
sure.
Not the casinos opened. After
the
indoor dining.
The rule said that that they could start, it got quickly stopped again. So theoretically, it was allowed since like midnight that day, right? I would
6
think.
6 a.m. I think was the rule.
6 a.m. And it was like 9 or 10 a.m. that they're like, whoa.
Yeah, I think it was actually maybe even later than that, but that was interesting. So I kind of was like, my reaction to it was just like, seriously, and not because I actually care about smoking on the casino floor, but more just like the last minute change again, because we previously had the last minute change with casinos can open with indoor dining. And I was like, just kidding, no indoor dining. And that was with like 2 days notice. And this was with like negative 5 or 6 hours notice. So my guess is that the smoking thing just made it too easy to keep your mask off. Like you could kind of just be like, no, I'm smoking.
Have a cigarette in your mouth all the time
right.
without actually smoking.
And then you kind of never have to have the mask on. But so the rule is you have to wear your mask anytime you're not actively eating or drinking. If you're on the casino floor or walking around and about, you actually can't walk around with your drink. That's the rule. You have to be like sitting. You have to keep your drink in one place. You can only have a drink if it's been delivered by a server on the casino floor. You can't go like, buy a beer at the Borgata store and wander around with it. Although, who's enforcing that? Seems like a lot of rules. Who knows how strictly it's being enforced. But yeah, the new rule is the mask can only come off for drinking on the casino floor. Any thoughts? Deal breaker. Not going back to the casino now.
Yeah, indeed. I can see both sides of it, frankly. I mean, I would be annoyed if I were the casinos or a smoker who really wanted to go to the casinos. But I don't know. It's such a kind of a gray area now, I think, especially given like how low the infection rates are in New Jersey and the general area. No strong feelings either way.
Yeah, I reacted to the news post in Facebook, in our Facebook group, with like a guy smacking his forehead, and I was like, oh, I wonder if people are going to think that I'm really like, into the smoking.
Of course, because the rollout was ridiculous.
Right, but yeah, no, it's more about like, just the way it's been handled. It's been ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's been horrible. I mean, like, the governor couldn't have done a worse job with implementing this or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of whether you think that the measures are too strict or not strict enough, like, this is not the way to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, think about this more than a few hours ahead of time, please. That's all I ask.
Indeed. I mean, we're kind of dealing with the same thing here with our governor. He basically recently demanded that all the schools reopen, but it was after, like, the start date for half the schools. So, like, I agree maybe with the premise, and I think maybe the data backs it up, but, like, there's no reason he couldn't have said it, like, a month before that or whatever.
Yep. Like, are we just, every time we get some restrictions loosened, are we just going to be waiting until even after they get loosened for the announcement of, like, just kidding, no, you can't actually do that? It's got to be nerve-wracking if you're managing these places.
I mean, it's been a mess. It hasn't been well handled by the state of New Jersey.
Yeah. Want to talk about some ticket in, ticket out?
Oh, yeah. So it seems like there's been a bunch of changes, and every casino is doing this a little bit differently in terms of, there's a national change shortage right now around the country. And so all the casinos have been handling how I don't know, what are these machines called? The change machines that also take slot vouchers and give you money. How they handle change.
Ticket redemption machine.
Yes, thank you. The ticket redemptions with change they may or may not have. So it seems like right now the Borg is rounding up to the nearest quarter. So if you put in a ticket for like, $12.13, you'll get 12 and a quarter back out. It sounds like Golden Nugget is giving exact change. Hera is giving bills only and forcing you to go to the cage with like a 7-cent voucher if you really want your 7 cents. It sounds like Ocean's the same. So yeah, a lot of people in the Facebook group have been saying like, just go spend your last 7 cents on an actual penny machine. And that's how you can take care of your 7-cent voucher you're going to get at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming people are either ditching these vouchers or making very long lines at the cage. I'm assuming the lines at the cage are longer because people have to take tickets there, but
yep.
I always just find a penny machine, like one of the old machines that you can play one line, 1 penny, and I'll just figure out whatever it is I can get to the dollar and do that. I don't think I've ever actually had it help me up to the dollar, like up to the next dollar. One thing that every slot machine should have is that like wager saver feature.
Yeah.
Where if you get down to below a single bet, so if it's 30 cents is the minimum bet, and you get down to 17 cents, it spins a wheel and gives you 17 out of 30 chance.
To get a full bet. Yeah.
To get a full bet.
It is good.
I mean, the other thing, we've seen this in Vegas, I guess you were not out there in Vegas last time, is like Cosmo and I think a couple other places. They give you the option to not even take the change, but to donate it to some charity. Mm-hmm. And so I think you can even like pick the charity in the interface, but because I don't ever want the change, like I end up losing it or leaving it on the desk in the hotel room or whatever. But
yeah, no one wants that. Only thing I want is quarters for Pygo.
That's true. That's a good point. But I'm assuming with all this stuff, it's probably like pretty fluid even from property to property, depending on what change they happen to have on hand in the machines at the time. So, just because Borgata was rounding up 4 or 5 days ago doesn't mean they're rounding up right now. Just because Golden Nugget was giving exact change 2 weeks ago and somebody reported that doesn't mean they're giving exact change now. So it's just something to be aware of when you go to the casino. Mm-hmm. I love my penny machines, though. Any excuse to play a true penny machine. One line,
you just walk right up and do one line. It's so good.
I mean, that's what all those old, I don't think Seal the Deal. I think that's too new. I think that was a 30-cent minimum.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, those are great.
So, I know we talked briefly last time about the Ocean and Borgata, lawsuit going on. It sounds like the Ocean exec who stole the Borgata phone has to give it back. I mean, I know a lot of people in our Facebook group said, like, haha, like, what is that going to do? The damage is already done, which I kind of agree with, but I don't know. Do you have anything more to say?
It does seem kind of weird. Like, this data is extractable in many different ways. Like, I don't understand. But I'll link to the Wayne Perry article that talks about it. I'm assuming there's just more to come. I'm assuming this is like the very first thing. It says it's a temporary restraining order. I mean, so part of it's giving the phone back to Borgata. Part of it's that a couple of executives now at Ocean apparently can't contact any past, current, or prospective Borgata customers in a temporary injunction, which is interesting because like
I'm a Borgata customer.
Right. Like, I maybe high rollers are like way more dedicated to a single casino, but like, does that mean if you're mostly an Ocean customer and like you happen to go to Borgata once while these people work there, they can't contact you? Like, that seems very weird.
That doesn't sound right. On the other hand, if Ocean is the party who did the bad thing, then
punitive.
It's somehow, maybe defendable, but no, it doesn't seem like a reasonable thing to do.
Interesting. So I mean, it talks about how, people are spending $1.5 to $4 million per visit, or the executives were overseeing customers spending that much money. So that's a lot, man.
That's more than I tend to bring to the casino.
A little bit.
Let's put it that way. So do you want to talk about Tropicana joining Caesars Rewards? So you can just go use your Caesars card there, right?
Yeah, no, you cannot. I don't understand this thing at all. It's so confusing. I mean, I guess they want it to all be under Caesars Rewards, but you have to get a Caesars Rewards local card at Tropicana, whatever that means.
Sounds quite similar to the MGM card at Borgata.
Except that Borgata was MGM's only property in Atlantic City. So if they had called it M Life Local, it at least would have made sense. I'm assuming you can't use your Caesars Rewards local card at Caesars, Harrah's, and Bally's. Well, Bally's isn't going to be part of Caesars Rewards anymore once the sale goes through. But yes, your local card will be valid at Tropicana Atlantic City only. That is what it says. So I'm guessing you'll still earn into one pot, but it just seems so complicated. And like, I mean, obviously I'm assuming this is a temporary thing, but it should be called like hyper local down to just the Tropicana.
I'm surprised you're not actually in casino marketing, because that's really good.
That's a early 2000s, mid 2000s journalism buzzword. So back when I was working at a nonprofit journalism organization.
When you were working at Patch or something?
We funded hyperlocal news media. That was what we did. Patch is hyperlocal. A scalable hyperlocal model. The scalable implies profit. But anyways, we're not talking about Patch.
Incredible. We're talking about what you all came here for. August data.
Hey, this is interesting stuff, man.
It is in. And would you believe the biggest month-over-month winner is Borgata? Because they were open for more than 3 days this month.
Yeah, were they up like 8,000%?
Yeah, 382%.
That's not as much as I would have thought.
No, it's actually a pretty terrible month for them, frankly. So, talking about how much this Ocean thing may or may not be hurting them. Like, they had a $40 million month compared to $71 million last year. They're almost the biggest year-over-year loser. They're down 43%, 44%, only beat by Golden Nugget, which is down a horrific 55%.
For the second month in a row.
$9.2 million month. Just absolutely horrible. I mean, though, I would never go to Golden Nugget, so it can't be that surprising to me. Frankly, the surprising thing was that they were doing so well for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that the online is just propping this up, so it's not like absolutely crushing them, but they're $4 million behind Resorts, who's the next lowest casino.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's terrible when you're talking about those low numbers. Yeah, the second month in a row that's the case, so I don't really know what's happening there. Borgata, I think, makes some more sense because they waited so much longer than everyone else to open. So I think there's going to be like more of a slow trickle in. I think if September you see a similar like 40% down month for Borgata, that's going to look way worse than the August data. So that'll be interesting to watch. I mean, then we'll have more of an idea maybe if this Ocean thing is really taking its toll. Borgata first, Hard Rock second at 33 almost $1 million, Ocean third at 24.4. It would be interesting if that's the new 1, 2, 3 going forward, right? Borgata, Hard Rock, Ocean, I think
it's going to be. I mean, there's probably going to be months where either Caesars or Harrah's can beat Ocean, but I would expect that that's the normal 1, 2, 3 now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy rise for Ocean, really. I mean, it's kind of like Hard Rock really getting to where we thought they'd be. I mean, we were idiots and said that they could beat Borgata in some months, and obviously that's never going to happen. Although it did, the last couple months, so we were totally right.
Hey, July 20. That's what we said. It happened. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Put one in the win column for us.
We knew everything that would happen except we were like off by a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, both really Hard Rock and Ocean, I think both, it took them 2 years, right, to sort of get to this point. And obviously there are all these crazy extenuating circumstances, but if they're really locked in at second and third pretty consistently, like that's pretty good for them. I don't know what to say about Nugget. It's just baffling.
We know that they're very successful online, so I don't expect them to be going anywhere. But their brick and mortar performance, that's horrible.
We have a bet for September data. not August data, September data, you have over $140 million brick and mortar revenue.
I feel good.
Yeah, because this month was down 30.5% from August 2019. $140 million would be down 37.5% from September 2019. So I feel like you're in pretty good shape.
I'm glad that I listen to my brain and not my heart, because my heart is stupid, as always.
Yeah, I think it's going to be well over, unless there's, a hurricane or something.
I think I'm in pretty good shape.
I'm rooting for a hurricane so I can win $5.
That sounds like a reasonable thing to want.
Yes. I would like millions upon millions of dollars of economic damage and property damage.
What we really need is the pandemic to take a horrible turn and get much worse.
I've got $5. It's like when people bet against their sports teams who are in like the finals of their sport.
Right.
And so they can be like, well, at least I won some money. Except
I won $10. It was worth it.
Yeah. Except the stakes are like way lower for what I could get and like way, way higher, exponentially higher in terms of what's going wrong. I don't actually feel that way, in case there's any confusion.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Nothing else is really terribly interesting here.
Hey, New Jersey sports betting record, man.
It must be said,
interesting.
Trop is doing just awful, too, frankly.
It's so confusing to me, because they were doing so well under Carl Icahn, and then he sells. No, I don't know. I can't imagine that that's really the thing that's changed it, although who knows?
He wasn't only the owner, he was also the biggest customer.
Yes. Yes. People were fiercely loyal to friend of the podcast, Carl Icahn. I think.
Indeed.
I think the thing that's changed is that friend of the podcast, Carl Icahn, is no longer involved. And people are like, well, I've friend of Due for a Win is not going to be there. I have no reason to spend my money there. Other than to just go grab some crab fries. And that does not show up on the data. It's only casino gambling revenue.
It must be said, like, surprisingly, the casino that has done the second best in the last 2 months, Bally's. Like, who would have thought? In terms of year over year. Yes.
Like, percentage down.
Yes. Actually, they were third best this month. Yeah, second best last month.
How's that possible?
Weird. It's weird because they're being sold right now too, right? It's very strange.
Yeah, and typically,
you fall off the mountain when you're being sold or shutting down or whatever.
Yeah, like people when they feel like they're going to lose their loyalty stuff at that casino, like they just stop going. And so yeah, it's really surprising.
I don't know. But the Caesars Flytrap is definitely doing surprisingly well.
But I mean, right now it is still Caesars Rewards, so who knows what'll happen when it actually moves over to Twin River Holdings.
That is true. It must be said. It's not like its own independent casino that's being sold, because it is Caesars Rewards. So in theory, your play there still will count for something after the sale goes through. So yeah, I guess it's a different situation.
Just not at Bally's.
Yes, exactly. So, do you want to talk about sports betting too?
Why not? We don't have anything else to talk about except for Boardwalk Empire, which is everybody's favorite. The month of August, in New Jersey specifically, the most amount of money bet on sports in a single state in a single month in history. $668 million, beating the previous record of $614, so it was not close. $614 million was the previous record in Nevada in 2019. Sorry, it's Nevada. This is not profit, by the way. It's just the amount wagered. So it's like, my $10 on Patrick Bamford to lead Leeds United in scoring. That will count for September's data, even though it's not going to pay out, which it definitely will until June or whatever. I'm glad I could bring it full circle back to Leeds United, which is really what I'm here to do.
I'm sure that he's going to be, doing well enough that they'll just pay out in like a month or something and be like, well, this is obviously a winner. We don't even need to wait.
That's what PointsBet does all the time. They have all kinds of promos where they're like, we'll just pay this out if it gets to like a certain point. Like they paid out Lamar Jackson MVP bets 2 weeks with like 2 weeks left in the season last year or something like that.
I like that. I think that's actually a really good promo for them. And, if something weird happens, then, they just eat the loss, but it's just promotional budget, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do a bunch of interesting stuff. Like, I actually have found, I don't know if other people pay way more attention to the different sports betting, cross-checking between apps. PointsBet used to always have, like, the best lines, and I think that gap has closed a lot, and it seems like the lines are much closer to DraftKings, and DraftKings has more options, like more futures options and crazy stuff. Whereas it seemed like before, it was just like PointsBet was pretty clearly, at least out of the 4 or whatever that I have accounts with, 5, the best option. it seems like that gap is no longer true. But I am not a big sports bettor, so do not base it on me, I will say. Don't be like, Craig says you gotta bet at DraftKings, man. No, there are other people who like do this all the time. I'm making like one bet a month, so.
So can I make a prediction, Craig?
Sure. Is it about Patrick Bamford?
No. So I will say if they set the record in August, I think they're going to smash it in September with football starting to, and playoffs in the NBA and NHL and baseball going on. This is probably going to be the best sports betting month maybe ever in history.
So do you think it's because people just have all this pent up excitement about sports and they want to bet on it?
No, I think New Jersey is just an incredible market for sports betting, probably better than Nevada has ever been. The most recorded in a single month in a single state. So like you're talking about Nevada, Delaware with like weird parlays, like Oregon and maybe one like Montana, maybe. I think we're the 4 that it was legal in before, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, New Jersey is really the population where...
Yeah, I mean, like, it's obvious that the biggest is going to be in New Jersey.
I was going to make my crazy thoughts about, people can't go to the game, so they're more likely to bet on the game.
No, because, like, so the previous record was in November of last year, right? And, like, that sounds like a reasonable month. I would actually maybe think December would be more, except I guess there's like Christmas presents that people might cut down on people's sports betting a little bit. But yeah, November with like NHL and NBA and both football. Actually, December probably wouldn't be as good because there's no college football really. I mean, there's a little bit at the beginning and at the end, but the middle there's not any. So,
and I feel like the World Series is even stretching into November.
Sometimes I think September, October are both going to be very, very large months for sports betting. Not only in New Jersey, but all over the country. Because all the sports are going.
Yeah, I mean, college football in like some weird capacity, but yeah, for the most part. For some reason, hockey's going on right now.
Without the Caps?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So are the Islanders losing? Are they going to lose?
Oh, I don't know. They're playing right now.
I know they're playing.
If they lose tonight, it's over. Anyways, nobody cares about that.
Least of all you. Anyway, if you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so at our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/DoForAWin. Find all of our great content at doforawin.com and buy our shirts. Reach out to Craig on Twitter at doforawin or me at Kyle Askin and send Craig some questions at doforawin@gmail.com. Any last words, Craig?
No. I got nothing.
Boardwalk Empire, just to keep this quick, as promised last time, in terms of plot, it was just helping to move forward the Commodore versus Nucky plot a little more. It seems like at the beginning of the episode, they were really building up how much Commodore was in the lead of that contest, I guess, and showing all of his advantages between him having the Coast Guard in his pockets and really controlling all the major players in Atlantic City. But it seems like towards the end of the episode, they're beginning to show that maybe it's starting to shift with maybe Jimmy second-guessing himself, maybe Eli to some level. The Commodore really seems like a quite unpleasant man, so that's kind of the main thrust of everything. I mean, I guess the Irish guy is going to get a little more involved on Nucky's side too, but I don't think there's too much we really have to talk about beyond that. Is there anything you want to say?
That's the big thing, the big climactic scene, Nucky confronting the Commodore and Jimmy and the governor at Babette's and saying he's going to ruin them all for going against them. I mean, obviously the other big plot point was our favorite Nelson Van Alden. Turns out he's paying off Lucy to just hang out inside for 9 months, and she seems to be getting restless. So who knows where that's going? Who knows what their plan, or his plan probably, because her plans don't matter. What his plan for the baby is. Like, is he gonna keep this baby and try to like bring it home to his wife and be like, found this baby? Like, I don't understand what his end game is there.
No, I don't fully understand either. I'm not sure. I suspect it's that. Well, we'll see what happens. I do like that Nelson bought her a record player, though.
Yeah, he's shown a little bit of a soft heart. I know. There.
Well, it's because Doyle told him that's what you have to do.
That's true, yes. Yeah. Doyle, just very weird.
He's a weird guy.
Doyle selling out Nucky to Van Alden. There was also the Margaret seeming very down, hanging out with the help, and then she has one good night with Nucky, and she's like, fuck them. I'm better than you. Don't call me by my first name, even though I just told you I could. So, I don't like to see that side of Margaret.
All your ladies at Boardwalk Empire just disappoint you. First was Jimmy's mom.
She was just moving ahead of Jimmy's mom, and then she had to be mean. It's not what I want.
I think that's it, unless you have anything else, Craig.
I mean, just the one line, guy with half a face says, how's Odette, who was the, woman that Jimmy hooked him up with at the cat house. Yeah. And Al says, she's a whore, that's how she is. I thought that was the line of the episode. Very blunt.
Good to see Al hanging out with Jimmy's wife too, speaking some Italian.
The thing that I meant, really, I thought was moving Margaret ahead of Jimmy's mom in my high esteem was Nucky saying, "I'll take you to Paris," and her being like, "I am happy here." And by here, she means Atlantic City. I don't want to go to Paris. I'm in Atlantic City, and that is right. Anyways, I think that's how we can wrap it up. Also, Nelson Van Alden hates the theater.
Hates it because his aunt took him there and then got disowned from his family.
Yes. All right, that's Boardwalk Empire, kids.
All right. Yep. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you in a few weeks. If you're down in Laurel anytime,
I'm just going to drive down, not say hi to my parents because COVID.
Yeah.
Get a Lido's pizza, eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Grab the beer, stop at Horseshoe.
Yep.
Come back up because I wouldn't pass any other casinos on the way down there.